Hi guys, so in this video I'm going to be talking about my top 10 favourite Bill Paxton movies. Bill Paxton was an actor that I just absolutely loved, and I just really miss him with the fact that we just won't be able to see him in any movies ever again since he passed away. And yeah, I just thought I'd give my opinions and his top 10 movies in my opinion. Uh, my favourite movies starring Bill Paxton, whether it be a supporting character or main lead. He's just was one of my favourite actors, and I think he was a lot of people's favourite as well. That being said, just gonna get into it and start off with some honourable mentions. Um, Firstly, my first honourable mention that I want to give a shout out to is a movie called Traveller with Mark Wahlberg. Bill Paxton plays a bit of a con man in it, and yeah, I just really enjoy that movie for what it is. Sort of doing these really odd jobs with minimal effort and sort of ripping people off, and he sort of takes Mark Wahlberg under his wing. And yeah, it's a movie I really enjoy. One of his later movies, which I always forget he's in, Edge of Tomorrow. I just think he's great in that as this sort of this sergeant leading this squadron. Just a fantastic underrated sci-fi movie. Obviously Tom Cruise being the main star, but seeing Bill Paxton in it was always great. John Hughes's Weird Science. It's a movie I'm not really too big on, but Bill Paxton is by far the best part of that movie. One False Move, which is again another really underrated movie starring Billy Bob Thornton and Bill Paxton. Sort of like a home invasion movie. Catherine Bigelow's Near Dark, great sort of downplayed vampire movie that I really do enjoy. Trespass is another fantastic underrated movie, and we're going to give a shout out as well to a late '90s movie, Mighty Joe Young. Not a great movie, but it's a guilty pleasure of mine that I do really enjoy. Those are all really my honourable mentions. So that being said, gonna kick it off with number 10. And number 10 for me is a movie that he has a small supporting role in, and I'm going with Streets of Fire. The cast in this movie is phenomenal. It really is truly great. I just absolutely adore it. Just think it's absolutely fantastic. Great premise, great soundtrack to this movie. This lead singer played by Diane Lane gets kidnapped, and sort of this guy goes on the hunt for her, and these characters we meet along the way are just so intriguing. And Bill Paxton plays the bartender in this movie, and he's just great. He's just everything you'd want Bill Paxton to be. And it's just a fun movie. It's not a great movie by any means, but it's really entertaining. As I said, the cast is just through the roof. As I said, Diane Lane, Bill Paxton, Rick Moranis, Willem Dafoe. It's just great, and I just love it for what it is. And the music is on point in this movie too. It's a really underrated movie. If you've not seen it, I fully recommend checking it out. Have a great time with it. So yeah, that is my number 10 pick, Streets of Fire. So coming in at number 9 for me is again another movie that came out in 2014, same year as Edge of Tomorrow. So I'm going with Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal as Lou Bloom. Now, premise of this movie is really great. So you've got Jake Gyllenhaal who plays Lou Bloom, who will pretty much stop at nothing to get footage of crimes to sell to the big news companies, and that is called a Nightcrawler. And Bill Paxton in this movie plays a fellow Nightcrawler who is trying to get Lou Bloom to join forces with him to make the job easier, that they can work together, and Lou Bloom just absolutely has none of it. And the way his character just spirals out of control just makes the movie, and it's great. And without spoiling the movie, something happens to Bill Paxton's character in it, and it just really shakes things up a bit. And yeah, I dig this movie. It's a 10 out of 10 movie for me. As I said, Bill Paxton's not at the forefront of this movie, but he is in it, and he's great in it. Jake Gyllenhaal steals the show. But yeah, it is a fantastic, fantastic movie, and one of Bill Paxton's last ones as well, last great ones, in my opinion. So yeah, that is my number 9 choice, Nightcrawler. So coming in at number 8 for me is a movie I think from 1993. That is Tombstone. This is a fabulous western that I just absolutely love. Yeah, just really, really dig everything about this movie. The main thing that I do dig about this movie is its cast. The cast is just absolutely phenomenal. From Kurt Russell to Val Kilmer, Powers Booth, Billy Bob Thornton. That scene at the table as well with the gun and the mug is just gold for me, and of course Bill Paxton himself as well. But yeah, this is just a true joyous western. One of the last great ones in my opinion, and I just love this movie. Love its cast. Sam Elliott as well. Fantastic western. And yeah, just absolutely love the movie. The cast, as I said, is its main selling point for me personally. It's what I enjoy most about it. But yeah, it's a great movie. Again, Bill Paxton is fabulous in it. So that is my number 8 choice, Tombstone. So coming in at number 7 for me is a movie that came out in sort of mid to late 90s. I think it was 96, 97. I actually remember going to the cinema to see this movie. And I picked this up not too long ago on Blu-ray, and it looks absolutely great. So yeah, that is Twister. Yeah, it's a sort of generic 90s disaster movie, shall we say, but for me this is one of the good ones that sort of sticks out. You know, it's not a great movie, but it is very, very entertaining and very enjoyable. I thought the CGI was going to be horrible. It wasn't. It was pretty good. It looked pretty good on Blu-ray. Not perfect, but pretty good. And I sort of forgot how good the characters in this movie were. You know, you've the supporting cast. You know, Alan Ruck, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Kind of forgot like some of these big names were in this movie, and yeah, at the forefront you've got Bill Paxton, who's trying to get a divorce from Helen Hunt, and as the movie goes on, you realise that they still sort of like each other. But yeah, it is what it is, and I just enjoy it. And Bill Paxton being in the lead in this movie, I'm just on board for the whole journey. And yeah, I just really, really dig Twister. Really, really enjoy it. Not perfect, but still really, really entertaining. So yeah, that is my next pick, Twister. So coming in at number 6 for me is a movie I've seen a lot of people say that this movie's underrated, and yeah, I completely agree. It's a movie actually directed by Bill Paxton as well. So yeah, coming in at number 6 for me is Frailty. Yeah, this is a really, really good sort of supernatural slash horror slash thriller movie that I really, really enjoy. So it's sort of like Bill Paxton's like trying to convince his sons that he's hearing these voices, or you know, these spirits are getting in touch with him to say, you know, these people need to be hunted and killed. And he's one son is completely on board with what he says, and the other son has his doubts. And yeah, it just is a really, really good, entertaining movie of the genre, and you know, really surprising to sort of see Bill Paxton be the directing force behind it. Yeah, I just really, really enjoy Frailty. It's a movie that I want to update to Blu-ray someday. But yeah, it's just a fabulous movie that sort of just came out of nowhere. So yeah, that is my next pick, Frailty. So coming in at number 5 for me is a movie directed by Ron Howard. Came out in 1995. I remember seeing this movie on TV and I was just blown away by it. I absolutely loved it. Bought the DVD, rewatched it. I couldn't get gel with the movie at all. I don't know what it was. It just didn't feel like the same movie that I saw years ago. But yeah, coming in at number 5 for me is Ron Howard's Apollo 13. I now love this movie. I'm just at a point in life now where I just think this movie's great. It's just absolutely fantastic. It's a movie that I'm ashamed to say I do forget about, even though I do love it. It just doesn't really pop up on when you're talking about movies about Kevin Bacon or Tom Hanks or Bill Paxton. This movie just seems to be forgotten in my opinion, but it's just one that I just absolutely love now as an adult. This Apollo 13 mission that just completely went wrong, and it was just the story takes this turn focusing on getting these astronauts home safely, and yeah, I just love it. I love it so much. I just think Bill Paxton's great. As one of these astronauts, it's just a fantastic movie. One of Ron Howard's best as a director, in my opinion, and yeah, I just love it. It just holds up so well. So yeah, that is my number 5 pick, Apollo 13. So coming in at number 4 for me. Now, bit of a spoiler: these next 3 movies are all directed by James Cameron. So it was just a case of which order did they go in. And yeah, so coming in at number 4 for me is Titanic. This could be considered one of the most overrated movies ever. I personally love this movie. I really do enjoy it. A lot of people think the weakest part about it is probably the materialized and fictionalized love story that takes place, and yeah, I completely get it. To talk a little bit about the movie, I think the shots of the ship just look absolutely fantastic. The second half of the movie where the ship sinks is nothing short of amazing. But to talk about Bill Paxton's character in the movie, sort of the present day of 1997, he's looking for the heart of the ocean, and that's him, and he ends up discovering and meeting Rose and hearing her story about her time on the Titanic, and that is pretty much his role in the movie. He sort of services more to the B story of this movie, and yeah, I just think he's great in it. I love it. He's there in the opening, he's there at the end, and yeah, he's just fantastic in it. Became a bit of a sort of a James Cameron staple, and yeah, I just love him in this movie as this supporting character. And yeah, I just think it's a fantastic movie. So yeah, that is my number 4 pick, Titanic. So coming in at number 3 for me is probably don't be annoyed at me at this one, but yeah, number 3 for me is Aliens. Now, the reason why this is number 3, I know this would probably be a lot of people's number 2, maybe even number 1. But yeah, it comes in at number 3 for me personally. Now, it only comes in at this place because I wasn't that big of a fan of the first 2 Alien movies growing up. I just wasn't. I'd go as far to say as the first time I watched them, I didn't like them. And I gave them another shot, and over time, I've grown to love them. I've grown to respect it. But these were not movies I grew up with. These are not movies I particularly enjoyed when I was younger. I just didn't gel with them, just didn't get them. But I'm at a completely different point now where these movies to me are 2 of the best movies ever. So yeah, that's why my number 2 and number 1 pick are probably just a bit. I do associate with them a lot more. But yeah, this movie is one of the best sci-fi / action movies ever. There's no disputing that. The characters in this movie are just absolutely lovable. You like all of them. They are just a phenomenal bunch of actors in this movie, and you just care about them. Similar to Predator, you care about these characters. You care when there's stakes in the movie. You just absolutely do. You just really, really do care. Bill Paxton's this is one of his funniest movie roles. The quotes are just too many. The whole game over, man. It's so lovable and so likable, as it were. I can't really knock or dent this movie at all. It's just absolutely superb. I can't say anything else about it that hasn't already been said. You know, it's aliens we're talking about here. But yeah, this truly is phenomenal. One of James Cameron's best. And yeah, I just absolutely love this movie. So that is my number 3 Bill Paxton movie, Aliens. So coming in at number 2 for me is again another James Cameron movie. And I'd go as far as say he probably has a bit of a smaller role in this movie. And I'm going with True Lies. Yeah, I just love his character. This movie to me is one of the funniest movies in terms of a Bill Paxton performance. He's sort of playing this sleazy con man who's trying to get with women. He's pretending to be the spy, and it's just hilarious when things come to a head in this movie. He is just so great. He has such great one-liners in it. I just love him in this movie. I do. I can't deny it. I just think he's just absolutely fantastic. Even though he's not in the movie long, he's one of the most memorable characters in this movie. And he just left such an impact on me. And this was a movie that I did grow up with as a kid watching, and I just love it. I just think it's absolutely fantastic, True Lies. I know a lot of people think there's some scenes in it that don't hold up to today's standards. I kind of get that, but it's not really dented the movie for me. It's not going to stop me from watching it by any means. And yeah, I just think it's fantastic. So that is my number 2 Bill Paxton movie, True Lies. So coming in at number 1 for me is actually my favourite Sam Raimi movie of all time too. I just adore this movie. I think it's so underrated. So yeah, that being said, my number 1 Bill Paxton movie is A Simple Plan. Great premise to this movie. It is pretty much these two brothers and their friend are out. They find a crashed plane, and in the plane they find a holdall which has roughly, I want to say about $4 million in it. And the whole movie is just, what the hell do they do with this money? Paranoia sets in. These characters are forced to do things you wouldn't expect them to do, and it just outplays so well. And another reason why this is my number 1 is Bill Paxton is pretty much the main character in this movie. He is at the forefront of this movie, really truly displaying his talents in this film. I just absolutely love it. It was so suspenseful. There's even little bits of Evil Dead peppered in this movie as well. Particularly in there's a bit of a shootout scene in the middle of the movie, and I just adore this film. I adore it so much. I never get bored of watching it. It's always a treat. To me, this and The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, are two of the best movies about paranoia ever. It just executed so well, and to hold this in high praise as well with The Thing is just, you know, it can't be that bad. And I just absolutely adore this movie. It's so good, it's so entertaining, it's so suspenseful. The characters do things in it that you just shock you, that you just wouldn't expect them to do, and it's just a very underrated movie in my opinion, and I just absolutely love it. And I just think Bill Paxton is great in this movie, firing at all pistons, height of his powers. Just a wonderful film that I just really dig. So yeah, that is my number 1 Bill Paxton movie, A Simple Plan. So yeah, those are my top 10 favourite Bill Paxton movies. I hope I've given some sort of decent justification as to why these films are in my top 10. I really do miss the guy as an actor. He's the best part of most movies for me. I just find him so entertaining to watch on screen whenever he pops up, even in smaller movies as well that I always forget he's in, like The Terminator and Blink and You'll Miss Him in Commando. Yeah, he's just a really great actor in my opinion, and yeah, just may he rest in peace, because I really do miss him in movies. So yeah, I'm going to leave the video there, guys, and say thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.